Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Usman, and today we are going to talk about the muscles of the thoracic wall. So, the muscles of thoracic wall include serratus posterior, serratus posterior superior, serratus posterior inferior, levator costrum, external intercostal, internal intercostal, innermost intercostal. It also includes subcostal and transverse thoracic muscle. So these are the muscles of thoracic cage. Now we're going to discuss them one by one. First of all, we have serratus posterior superior muscle and serratus posterior inferior muscle. As the name suggests, serratus posterior superior muscles are present superiorly, whereas the serratus posterior inferior muscle is present inferiorly. Talking about the origins and insertions, the stratus anterior posterior, uh, the stratus posterior superior muscle. It is quite confusing, yeah. So stratus posterior superior muscle. It originates from the nuchal ligament, which is present here on these cervical spines, and it also arises from spinous processes of C7 to T3 vertebrae. C7 C7 to T3 vertebrae. So it arises from the spinous processes of C7 to T3 and nuchal ligament, and it attaches to the superior border of second to fourth rib. As you can see here, this is second rib, this is third rib, and this is fourth rib. So this muscle attaches to uh, superior border of second to fourth rib on both sides, on this side as well. Okay. So this is the region and insertion of serratus posterior superior muscle. It is supplied by the second to fifth intercostal nerves, which are running through these in inferior margins of these ribs, and uh, the function of this muscle, as it is present superiorly and attaches to superior border of the ribs, it elevates the ribs while we during respiration. It elevates these ribs. The second muscle, that is serratus posterior inferior muscle, it arises from the spinous processes of T11 to L2. T11 to L2. Lumbar second to uh, thoracic 11 to lumbar second. And it attaches on inferior border of 8 to 8 to uh, 12 rib. Okay. So it attaches in inferior border at inferior border of 8 to 12 rib, and so as it attaches on inferior border and it is present inferiorly, so what will it do? It will depress the ribs, it will move the rib downwards, and it is also supplied by anterior rami of T9 to T12 thoracic spinal nerves. The next muscle which we are going to talk about is levator costrum. The levator costrum muscle, it arises from transverse processes of C7 to T11. C7 to T11 vertebrae. Okay, it arises from transfer processes. As you can see here, these are the transfer processes of these vertebrae. Now, talking about its insertion, the levator costrum muscle attaches to subjacent rib between the tubercle and the angle. What do I mean by subjacent? Subjacent mean which is situated below something. As you can see here, this muscle is arising from this transfer process, and it is attaching on this rib which is situated below to this transverse process or this vertebrae. So that's why this is a subjacent rib to this one. So all these muscles, as you can see here, they attaches uh, on subjacent ribs. As you can see here, they are, all are attaching to the ribs which are situated below them. Okay, And as they are mainly attaching, as you can see, on the upper border of the rib, you can see a rule here. Whatever attaches on the upper border of rib, it will elevate the rib, and whatever attaches on the lower surface or lower border of rib, it will depress the rib. So the levator costal muscle will elevate the ribs, and it is supplied by posterior primary rami of C8 to T11 nerves. Next, we have intercostal muscles. Intercostal muscles, as the name represents, it is between the ribs. These muscles are present between the ribs. Firstly, we have external intercostal muscle. Then we have internal intercostal muscle. And lastly, we have the innermost intercostal muscle. The external intercostal muscle, as the name suggests, will be present most externally, whereas the internal costal muscle will be present internally, and the innermost will be most inner muscles in this area. So, regarding the insertion and origin, it is very easy to remember. They all the muscles, all these three muscles, they originate from inferior border of the ribs. They're present on all ribs, as you can see in this picture. They're present on all ribs. They, as you can see, these all these are internal cost. All these are intercostal muscles. So this is a part which is being amplified here. As you can see here, they are attaching to inferior border of upper rib. They originates from here, and they are inserted on the upper border of inferior rib. Okay, and this is the external intercostal muscle which is present externally and outermost layer. Then we have the internal intercostal muscle, which is the inner layer or middle layer, and then we have innermost intercostal muscle, which is present uh, in the inner section. Okay. Regarding about the nerve supply, the intercostal muscles are supplied by intercostal nerves. Okay, and regarding about their action, they have different actions actually. Uh, the external intercostal muscle will elevate ribs during forced inspiration. They will work mainly in forced inspiration, whereas the internal intercostal and innermost intercostal muscles, they actually have two parts. One is the introsus parts, which is present mainly in this area, and then we have the coastal part, intercostal part, which is present between the cartilages. Okay, the introsus part will actually depress the rib, whereas the interchondral part will elevate the rib, and they will both work during active inspiration. So intercostal muscles do not usually are involved in our normal respiration. It, they are usually involved when we are actively respirating, or when we are taking deep breath, then these muscles are being involved. Now let's talk about the subcostal muscles. Subcostal muscles, they originates from, as the name suggests, in the internal surface of the lower ribs near the angle. Okay, so they all originate from lower border of the ribs, as you can see here. As you can see here, okay, they are originating from the lower border of the ribs, and they will attach on the superior border or upper border of the rib, two or three ribs below. Like they will skip one or two rib, and they will attach on the second or third rib, which are present below them, on the superior surface of them, and they have the same nerve supply as the intercostal muscles, and they probably act in the same manner and assist the intercostal muscles. And lastly, we have transverse thoracic muscle. The transverse thoracic muscle, it originates from it originates from the posterior surface of the lower sternum. This is the anterior surface, and which we cannot see is the posterior surface. So these muscles, as you can see here, which is colored in green, they originates from posterior surface of sternum, and they are inserted on internal surface of the costal cartilages from second to sixth costal cartilage. So they are inserted on the inner surface of second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth costal cartilage. And regarding the nerve supply, they are also supplied by intercostal nerves, and they work mainly as depressors of the rib, or they weakly depress the ribs during uh, respiration. So that was all about the muscles. Now let's let's talk about the typical and atypical nerves. Intercostal nerves can be divided into two parts. One of them is typical nerves, and then we have atypical nerves. For all nerves, whenever they originates from the vertebrae or the intervertebral foramen, they divide into two parts. One is the anterior ramus, the other one is the posterior ramus. The anterior ramus will continue below or inside of the rib, and they will form the intercostal nerves. Whereas the posterior ramus will go behind. The posterior ramus will actually pass posteriorly and lateral to the articular processes of the vertebrae, and it supplies the joints, the deep back muscles, and the skin of the back in the thoracic region. As you can see here, this is the posterior rami of the spinal nerve. This is the posterior rami of the spinal nerve, and here we have the intercostal nerve, which is anterior rami of the spinal nerve. So let's talk about the typical and atypical intercostal nerves. The nerves which are arising from the third to sixth space or sixth intervertebral foramen, T3 to T6, they are called typical intercostal nerves. Why? Because they have same or similar course over the chest cavity. Let's talk about this course. The third to sixth intercostal nerve, they all of these, uh, the anterior rami, when they enters the chest cavity, they enter the most medial part of the posterior intercostal space. As you can see here, this is the posterior intercostal space, and they will enter it, and they will run initially in the endothoracic fascia between the parietal pleura and the internal internal intercostal membrane. The internal intercostal membrane is present in this area, whereas the pleural fascia, yeah, parietal pleura, which is a part of lungs, it is a covering of lungs. So the nerve will be initially present between the pleura and the membrane, which is internal intercostal membrane. Near the angle of the rib, as you can see here, it will actually pass between the internal intercostal and innermost intercostal muscle. As you can see here, it is present between this is the innermost intercostal muscle, and here we have the internal intercostal muscle. As we cannot see the nerve, so it is present between these two muscles. Let me show you another diagram to make you understand this better. Here you can see the anterior rami and the posterior rami. This is the anterior rami, and this one is the posterior rami, which is passing posteriorly. The anterior rami will be intercostal nerve. This is the pleura of the lung, and here we have the internal intercostal membrane. Okay, here you can see the nerve is passing between the innermost intercostal muscle and the internal intercostal muscles. Near the mid-axillary line, this will give a lateral cutaneous branch, okay, which will further divide into anterior and posterior branches, okay. And the intercostal nerve will continue, and it will come anteriorly, and anteriorly it will give a branch which is called anterior cutaneous nerve, which will further divide into lateral and medial branches. So this is the course of a typical intercostal nerve. Regarding the location of the typical nerves, they are present in the inferior margin or the groove in the inferior border of the rib. As you can see here, this is the inferior border and this is the groove here, and you can see the uh, the vessels. Actually, it includes the nerve, the artery, and the vein. All of them are present in the groove here, and it is being protected by this inferior margin of the rib. So these vessels are protected here by this margin. Okay, and as you can see here, the location is the nerve is present in the uppermost area. Then we have the the vein is present in the uppermost area. Then we have the artery, and lastly we have the nerve, which is the inferior most. So this pattern will be repeating in 3 to 6 subcostal nerves, and the atypical nerves will have slightly different pattern, which we will discuss shortly. Then we have atypical intercostal nerves. They are called atypical because there are some variations which are present in these nerves, and they do not follow the course or the division of the typical nerves. Firstly, we have T1. The T1 or the first thoracic spinal nerve. As we already know, the anterior rami will become the subcostal nerve in third to fourth thoracic nerves. Uh, but in the first thoracic nerve, what will happen? The anterior rami will become part of brachial plexus, which we have studied earlier. It will become the part of brachial plexus. Okay. Whereas the posterior rami will be continuing as the intercostal nerve. Okay. The second difference is the first and second intercostal nerve will be present on the inner surface of inner surface of the ribs. Okay, as it is opposed to the other intercostal nerves which are present in the inferior margin of the upper rib, which we studied earlier. Okay, the third difference is the 7th to 11th intercostal nerves. They are also atypical nerves because after giving rise to lateral cutaneous branch at the mid axillary line, they will actually cross the costal margin posteriorly, and they will continue on supplying abdominal skin and will become thoraco-abdominal nerves. Okay, so this is the third variation. There is another thing that second or sometimes third intercostal nerve, they give rise to a large lateral cutaneous branch that is known as intercosto-brachial nerve. This nerve will emerge from the second intercostal space at the mid-axillary line. It will penetrate the serratus anterior and enter the axilla and the arm. And this nerve usually supplies the floor, the skin and subcutaneous tissue of the axilla, and it will then communicate with the medial cutaneous nerve of the arm to supply the medial and posterior surfaces of the arm. So these are different variations which are present in these atypical nerves, and that is why they are called atypical. Okay, I hope you are able to understand the difference between the typical and atypical nerve, and as well as have a grasp on the muscles of the chest cavity or anterior thoracic wall and posterior thoracic wall. If you have any difficulty, you can contact me or your respective demonstrator. Until the next time, stay safe and stay home.